What's up? This is the Julian and Ghost eating food out of pothead ass podcast. You know I'm coming with the cracks. All right, so we gonna start with a little introduction. I'm just like who we are. Obviously, I'm Julian.
Ghost.
So I don't know which way the squares are, but yeah, we're brothers. I'm the younger one, the cutest one.
I'm the grown one, grown and sexy.
He's the slow one. That's what it is. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm the slow one because I'm a few years after you, huh? Anyway, all right, so we just want to start this podcast to talk about everything. I feel like every time we talk, like it just be sounding like a podcast. Then like when any of my friends be around us, they be listening to us like they be intrigued. They be intrigued. They be low key wishing I'm straight too. But besides that, I feel like people love what we say. And if they don't, I feel like we do.
I know you definitely love what you say. Just
I
be,
sometimes don't.
I feel like you just be talking to hear yourself. And sometimes I feel like you talking and then you hear yourself and then didn't know that you were talking. And then you listen to yourself, which I do that sometimes myself where I'm like, you right. Like, I don't say that part out loud, but just listening to myself, I'm like, I don't know what. I get on a tangent too. I noticed that you do that too. I get on a tangent, so maybe we good for entertainment and
Yeah,
podcast
you
reasons.
really do. But I do it more though. But I mean, we are brothers. It do be the same. Low key though,
Different
I do like
levels.
when you, yeah, different, but also just different vibes of the same thing almost. Like there's times where we be talking and I'm just listening to you. Actually, that's funny. I don't know if you noticed that, but it goes both ways really equally. There'll be times where we be like together, like because we don't live in the same city. So it's like when I come in town or you come where I'm at, whatever, whenever we link up, it surprises me because on the phone, I'll be the one talking more so. But in person, it'd be different. I don't
Yeah.
know, especially when you got a blunt in your hand.
Opinions just get me started. I think that's like one of the things about me that people's like, normally you quiet, you not saying much, but then which to me is like normal. It's like whenever you start talking to me about something that I want to talk about, then of course I'm gonna start talking. So I'm like, what type of person you take me for to just be sitting over in the corner talking my ass off about nothing before we start talking? Like you have to talk to me first. But I guess that's what you be doing, huh?
No, I was gonna say that's be me, but like actually, you're right though, because like there's been times where I like feel like I talked way more than I listened, but I was just realizing like yesterday I was telling someone that last 5 years of my life, I guess 10 years of my life, I like definitely put into practice because people would say what you're saying about me, but more in a negative way and not in a like a camaraderie way. Like we both do the same thing, if that makes sense, or reflection way. I don't know. But I used to talk a lot more. I started practicing listening more, studied that too about the art of listening and how to. But then now I have been getting this revelation, I guess, of blending the two or balancing the two because I thought I talked too much, but I've been getting a lot of people telling me like, "Oh no, I like you like that you talk and stuff," like kind of reaffirming or like, reintroducing my confidence to myself about it. Like that's okay too. But
You ever did therapy?
I didn't. The only session I actually booked, I did not show up. I slept through. That was so bad.
Why?
I probably stayed up all night. It's what 2 a.m. right now. I still have energy. I'm probably gonna do it. Yeah, I say I'm a night owl, so it's like the session was like only one available at like 11, 10 a.m. I wasn't gonna make that. I was not gonna make that.
You feel like you got insomnia?
Not insomnia. No, no, no. Because when I go to sleep, like at 7, 8, 9, 10 a.m., sometimes even 1, whenever I go to sleep, I go to sleep. And I don't get up until like I have something to do and I have the energy to do it or until I need to. You know what I mean?
Like sometimes when I get nervous, like not even nervous, but like anxious or like I got stuff planned for the next day, I get like real bad insomnia and I'll be up to like 6, 7, 8 in the morning, just like what the fuck. And it's like or confusion or just angst, like just a lot of just mixed emotions about things. Like it just kind of like it's kind of weird. It's like the shutdown doesn't even let me sleep.
That has happened to me. And you said sometimes, yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes I'm up because of excitement. Sometimes I'm up because it's like last minute planning. And then like it depends on what it is though, you know?
But I was
It
gonna
depends
say
on what it is.
about therapy, it's important because I done a few sessions of therapy because Anna had
Okay.
some like sessions through her job that like gave her family free sessions for mental health and stuff. So after my father passed, I went and just talked to him to see how the process goes. And it's because it's kind of hard to kind of get people to listen to you and kind of help you think about what you're trying to talk about. You can get people to just listen to you because, like, most of the time, if you just talking about something important to someone, if you just go walk up to almost anybody and just be like, "Man, my dog died," like they gonna start listening. If you hear anything like "my dog died" and just speaking in that tone, anything died, like you know what I'm saying, "my battery died," like they
Not
gonna
all
just
the time.
start.
Sometimes it's a trap. I be hearing trauma, drama. I'm like, this is not my shit. I don't have the capacity. So sometimes I don't listen.
But it's even easier when you interject it the right way, like with a friend, and you're just like kind of ease into their. All right, they're gonna listen, but that doesn't mean they always know what to do or always got the time for it. But when
Yeah.
you pay someone to have the time to listen and kind of have like the formal education of how to like to know how to listen, because a lot of people don't know how to talk and always have it truly connected to the root of their feelings. So it's like people who can listen to like, I see what you're really trying to get at.
Yeah. Even just ask the right questions to open up a door that they think they skimmed over. Because I know what you're saying. Sometimes they're like, either they don't know how to say it themselves to like in a realistic way themselves, or maybe they might be there on a court order kind of thing, and but the trained professional, or even just really the gifted person in that space, also to maybe even the practice person in that space, could know how to either hold space and not ask questions and just like wait for them to, because a lot of times people will spiral into new spaces they don't know,
And
or
it's
to
no
ask
right
the right
way,
questions. There's no right, yeah.
but it's like, yeah, like, you kind of
But it's kind of a
educated.
paradox. We've been talking about paradoxes a lot, and I feel like that's definitely a theme in the times I felt like we started getting closer in our adulthood. Is like I don't know if I would say we disagree on anything specific, and our mindset is similar. Like we see a lot of perspectives and appreciate them, but like the paradox I'm talking here is with the idea of the benefit of going to someone who's trained in like their profession is to talk or to listen and to help you uncover things or whatever, you know what I mean? With that, when someone is paid to do something like that, sometimes the inauthenticity of that relationship or that setup kind of makes me, I don't know, actually, since I haven't done therapy, I need to see how that would work. But in my feeling, one, I love therapy. I love the idea. I'm an advocate for it. Like the idea of it, like try different options, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how low people can get and how things can be so like hidden. But at the same time, it just seems like, is this real? Am I really connecting with you? Like I'm paying you here. So
Yeah,
like
they
you're
are.
just
That's
kind of,
it. You're
yeah.
investing in your own healing. Like they're not investing in it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I like that
it'd be
perspective.
it'd be different if your parents or someone is investing their time into observing you. But like I say, not everyone has that skill. Most people,
Yeah.
that's what you will be truly blessed with is like if like you always see them type of movies where like people's parents is a therapist and they're like, stop trying to always psychoanalyze me, dad. And it's like
Yeah.
boom, it doesn't matter. Even though that they're a therapist, their kid still grows with their little build up of who they become psychologically and all that type of stuff. So yeah, everyone could be psychoanalyzed, and it's like sometimes you don't want to fully be known whenever you're trying to kind of come out to people about things. You want to be like, I want to tell you this. You don't want them to be like, yeah, I know. He's like, wait. well,
Well,
damn, like,
it's
why didn't
it's
you been
funny.
tell me? Or, why didn't you, all that type of stuff. You
Yeah,
want
it's
someone that
funny.
outside source. Yeah.
It's funny you say that though, because I feel like one thing that I've been bothered by with me talking too much is not really that I'm talking too much. It would be annoying one part of talking without intention and just saying a whole bunch of shit and not being intentional with what you say and stuff, or just not even know what you're talking about, just talking at your ass. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think the main thing is because the people I do hang around that I was telling you about earlier today is that like sometimes people will trauma dump some things they might need to talk about what's going on in their life just over casual conversation. You know, that person even in a gallery, you know what I mean, a gala or something, that person that goes a step further of like small talk, like I don't like the small talk, but at the same time you kind of took it left real quick. So anyway, I get that a lot in different environments in my life. And one thing that I recognize that I want to change, I'm not really hard on myself about, but is that I will give maybe sometimes unsolicited advice. I won't listen and not react, which I think is such a great way to listen that I have researched and learned through study. I had to learn that skill or that technique. And then like I don't like sometimes I can almost hear what people are gonna say before they finish it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you kind of already know what they're talking about before they finish, and so sometimes I'll just be like, well, yeah, and then I'll like finish their sentence for them like 5 times in the conversation. Sometimes I'll just like be like, I know. So that thing you said about I know, like that's one thing that I feel like is it gives the illusion that you're there in the conversation with them, but it also gives like an unknowing feeling in some situations, a lot of situations, that you are like overpowering their situation. You know what I mean? Or like understanding something
Cause like I say,
more.
they want to bring it to you. It's theirs.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's
Go
like
ahead, you said
someone's
that.
bringing you a treasure chest, and then you're taking things out. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got a shirt right here, and it's like, yeah, I was gonna tell you what I had, and it's like, okay. Sometimes some people will value, you saving the time of that, but some people won't, because like I say,
I
it's
love how
theirs.
you, and this is crazy. Look, this was not part of the podcast, how we planned it, if we planned much at all. But you saying that, I'm like, I don't know why that was such a good image in my mind. And I feel like we talked about this kind of thing before, but like it's that was a clear image. You said taking the treasure out of someone else's treasure chest. How they talk about things on social media, like as a black man, you know what I mean? It's very understandable and a very collective understanding of people taking things that you're generous with, you know what I mean? Like taking advantage of your gift. And it is a gift sometimes when people tell you what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm just co-signing what you're saying.
But that's why, like, what we do for the most part, I just kind of wanted to be more like entertaining on the, you know what I'm saying, on the surface, kind of like on some, I don't want to say it like Snoop and Martha, but like two worlds coming together type of thing.
For
That's why,
sure.
that's why it's like, reviewing the movies and the list. That'd be dope. Like, just
Even
kind
talking
of
about,
breaking
even
down
talking about,
social trends.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Because I think what you're saying too, that I'm intrigued about us doing more of these is like we're gonna get to different perspectives, but it'll be interesting to see, as we've known and we've discovered many times, how our differences are really not that different, and then like is really almost like different in title. Of course, we live different lifestyle. I can never smoke a whole blunt like you could in one sitting. I can't do that nowadays. But it's just, you know what I'm saying?
Down on smoking one blunt at one time.
That's what I'm saying. One
I used
blunt. I
to I
can't
used to
even.
go smoke a bunch at a time, but now I'm like, I'm gonna just smoke this one. Normally, like it's like it was normal to be like smoke one and then
Yeah.
maybe if I'm like with people, like if I'm
I
with
just
people, they kind of like really like, damn, we just smoked that whole blunt. Why is he rolling another one? I'm like, well, I didn't smoke one.
Right. Well, that's different. But I did you see that reel? It was just like on Instagram. I don't know if I sent it to you, but because we send reels back and forth all the time. That is one of my love languages for sure. Sending reels. Like if you could send me a reel one time a year and it's just that one that give me. Anyway, we do this daily. And anyway, it was Snoop Dogg in a thing with some streamer. I forget who it was exactly, but he was like, okay, oh, it was like Snoop Dogg teaches how to hotbox a car. And he was like, okay, we're gonna smoke one, pass it around. He put some rule to it to the point where it's gonna be at some point three. Oh, it was 7 minutes. That's what it was. Y'all, this is coming to me. It's been a long day. He was like, the first blunt, we got about 7, 9 minutes to 7.5 minutes to bust it down. And then he was saying there was gonna be a second blunt like once we get to that part. And he was saying it was like three blunts, and then this is a hotboxing thing. Like we've been in cars together, hotbox you and I, and you know how I am. I don't know something about the smoke, which reminds me of Dad's popcorn shop back in the day. I always used to hate being in smoky places, kitchens, like anything that like even Houston that made my skin feel sticky and stuff like that, humidity. And so that's the main reason I can't be in smoking environments. Like I don't know, it just gets nasty at a certain point, and then coughing. We know it's a better high after you cough, but
Hate
now that you
coughing.
smoke, now that you smoke so much, it don't matter as much.
Just hate coughing. I got homies that cough every time they smoke, and I'm like, bro, I thought you grow out of that shit, but
Take a smaller one.
yeah, I'm like, bro, you gotta start hitting the blunt different, bro. But I think that's kind of like probably pain because you be overhitting it and then be hitting hot dabs and stuff. That be you got to be able to
But bro,
train yourself to take deep breaths, man.
I'm thinking it's like more than like the damage of smoking in general because of coughing. When I'm coughing, I'm thinking like I'm getting more damage from coughing. And you know what I'm saying? Also too, like dry mouth and stuff. Like I be smoking, I have lozenges in my mouth most of the time. I have water on me. Actually, water break. Yeah, I don't know. It's really not the smoke, it's more of like the everything around it. People get acne around smoke. It's like really not the smoke, it's more so you sitting in your smoke. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like it just surrounding me and touching my skin. And like I'm really sensitive on how I feel like things come out my skin. Have you ever heard me say like when I'm eating sweets like or like fried foods that I feel it coming out my face pores? Have
That's
you ever?
everybody. That's all. Everybody is what they eat. I definitely have better skin if I didn't smoke, but I definitely.
People, and I've said it, I remember saying it around family a few times. And every time I say it around people, everyone's like, but everyone be looking at me crazy. I'm like, this is obviously what I feel. Like, I don't even need your approval, but I know I'm feeling it. I don't know. Anyway,
Definitely.
what you want to talk about?
I mean, that's pretty much the introduction of us. Like I say, next time we line up, we gotta talk these lists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so what he's saying is what he said. But anyway, next time we get back on our next episode, we're gonna review the Golden Globes list. We looked over it briefly. We don't know most of these movies as it usually goes every year, but this is something that I feel like we have talked about through years. I want to do this since I can remember. So many people want to do this. Just like what one you only know one movie that you thought was good, and you always like that shouldn't have won. What is this? You know.
And it's
So we're gonna
award
look at some of
season,
it.
so we gonna have a few little episodes of this because I definitely don't. I'm about to say like I look at like all the different groups. I look at all the different genres or whatever, different whatever
Every
they
year?
call. Yeah, like I look at comedies, I look at musicals, I look at all the different types, but like I never like if I look at the comedies that I look at, they're not in the runnings. The dramas that I look at, maybe one or two of them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, like I kind of look at the type of stuff that is winning, and most of it be biased. graphical.
Yeah.
Like I'm
It
not sure.
like
I don't really be needing biology or biography, whatever biography reports of Abraham Lincoln. That's not the best movie.
but it's like they I noticed this year, and I noticed every year, especially in the last 10 years for sure, is that they're trying to do more inclusivity. So it's weird how you can notice like this year is for the Asians, this year is for the black representation, this year is for the Latino representation. And I feel like this year definitely had a certain target. It wasn't specific all the way around, but I definitely noticed that this year. So it'll be interesting to talk about that and kind of like go through the list.
Half the
But
movies is just a name, and they just think like we just gonna do a Spanish name and we just target it more. It's like, come on, man. Like,
but yeah, I mean
I don't
still
know.
that. But then, hey, like I was gonna say, I know we're not gonna get into it now, but did you didn't see the Jamie Foxx comedy stand up? Nah, honestly, I feel like when you get a chance, like whenever, you should watch it just because I want to compare. Because actually, we grew up going to stand-up comedy shows. We grew up going to movies when our dad would pick us up. Even our mom, like we always went to movies. We went to like a lot of shows, like car shows. So we are used to entertainment. And then, so anyway, this is like a passion of ours. Like I remember, I'll tell a story real quick too, real quick. I remember sitting around the TV. I feel like one of the things we would do, which weirdly enough helped in a position that I got thrown into one time on set when I used to be in production and stuff. But it was crazy because we used to sit down and look at TV and movies, and then like say the girl's hair was behind the ear, one clip, and then they would go to the other person and then go back from a different angle, and then the girl's hair would be in a ponytail, and we'll be like, "What the? Did you see that?" And I just remember growing up doing like that was part of the watching thing for us. Like we would even talk about the actors from their last role to this role. Like we would talk about like production stuff too, like a lot of stuff.
It's called continuity. It's the continuity checks. I actually did a few productions where I was sitting there helping with the continuity checks. Kind of like a PA, but like really just checking to make sure. It was just really literally on some Tubi movies, which is like I was like, man, I thought more movies would be Tubi movies would be having somebody else checking like that. But definitely, I've also seen 50 Cent, like he checked in big for like some of his productions. Continuity was off when he's like, normally I'd be on set and I'd be getting that stuff right, and then I leave. They got some weird stuff like that happen. So yeah, most definitely.
That's how I got thrown into that position was a script supervisor, what they used to call it, but now they call it a continuity supervisor. But I didn't even know about the position. It's usually somebody who is just like someone who's good with like the person on set is not the person who's talking to everyone. They're probably always organizing stuff. And when I got thrown into positions, I think I've done it like 4 times, 4 or 5 times I've done on different commercials, but they all knew that I was like in my first year. 4 or 5 times is not like experience. So I didn't have to line up scenes exactly how they would do it. You know what I mean? They kind of gave me an easier route to it, but I was still calling stuff to the point where like I think my first one was Academy and I was a production assistant and they were trying to be cheap and they literally were like, "Oh, you're still a PA getting paid as a PA, but you're going to be doing this job." And they're explaining it to me. I called my friend Brooklyn and her husband own a production company the night before. I was like, "Okay, tell me if I should even accept this stuff." And then I told them like what it was. We went through the script and they're explaining to me like what the position is, and I'm like, I'm gonna be talking to the director, I'm gonna be having to call out stuff, like, you know what I mean, I'm gonna have to do this and that and organize this, and they're trusting me, the type of stuff that so many things that we've done that I've seen on production sets. And tell me if I'm lying, because you've been on the same kind of sets, is we grew up doing those kind of things, either if it was in our artistic self as an adult, you know what I mean? We had interest in those things, or it was just like an attention to those interests growing up. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, movies, media. This ain't coming from a professional perspective, not professional or an educated, because we ain't watching everything, but it's just coming from two brothers. That's what we do. We talk about stuff. That's it.
Click.
That's it. Okay, so wait, when are we gonna post this? I don't want to stop recording. Okay, okay.